Hey everyone, Reverend Sully, Eric O'Sullivan, ordained on the internet. The caveat, as always, please do not burn your hands holding on to my hot takes. If you do, well, that's on you, pal. It's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for the Saturday Star Wars hot take. What is my favorite Star Wars movie? The Empire Strikes Back. That's it. Yeah, it's Empire. Very special place in my life, very special time in my life. I was 7 years old when it came out. I got to see it with my best friend. He was 6. We were old enough to remember everything. My aunt Joanne took us. My auntie Jojo, who's passed on. Brian reminded me about that night, and all these memories came back to me, such as we went to the Sac Sherry 123. It was near, where was the Sac Beacon Hill? We arrived there, and there were people in costume. And this is years before. This is decades before cosplay. This was literally 1980 on opening night, and my auntie Jojo made the ushers. They had this velvet curtain, and she said, "No, can you open it for the kids?" And they did. And me and Brian were just like dumbfounded and gobsmacked. I remember too. I asked him, "Were we fighting that night?" And he was like, "Yeah. We were. You wanted to be Luke Skywalker, and we were playing Star Wars." And I was like, "No, you can't be Luke Skywalker. I'm Luke Skywalker. You have the dark hair. You're Han Solo." And I just like, oh wow. And I remember when Han Solo ignited the lightsaber. He had the lightsaber in his hand, and he slid open the tauntaun, and then you see the entrails of the tauntaun come out, and it was such a gross out moment, but it was so cool. And I remember also Time magazine at the time too. No pun. Yoda was on the cover, and it was, who is Yoda, and this mystery of the Jedi Master, and then the whole reveal of "I am your father," but then seeing it again and again afterwards, and then all the action figures. And Brian had the best action figures. He was my best friend. He let me play with all of his toys, and it was a wonderful thing. We had all the. It was 1980. We had all the properties. We had the first run of He-Man the next year. We had the first run of G.I. Joe the next year too. But Empire was so special. He had the Snowspeeder. He had the AT-AT. He had the Millennium Falcon. It was so great to just bring your toys and jam and play Star Wars with all of our toys and action figures. It was, what an amazing experience it was, being a Generation 1 Star Wars fan. And a few years later, in 83, Return of the Jedi came out. I remember as well, I got the Scholastic books, picture book for that, and before the movie came out. So it was my first proper spoiler of anything. So I saw the green lightsaber and the Ewoks. But when it came to Empire Strikes Back, it was just such a special moment in time. In 1980, I mean, songs just bring me back to that moment. Olivia Newton-John, Magic, Blondie's Call Me. Just these, that they have the ability to make me, go there, like as in a time machine. And to be alive and cognizant in 1980, going into the 80s was this big deal. And there were so many sci-fi things going on besides Battlestar Galactica. Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon was about to come out, and in the next couple of years you had this golden age, this, maybe call it a silver age of sci-fi, of Last Starfighter, Return of the Jedi, Dune was going to come out soon. Though the list goes on and on. But to have all that late 70s post Star Wars lead up, to Empire Strikes Back, it was just what a special time to be a fan and a kid steeped in Star Wars and action figures. And I'm so blessed to have shared this with Brian, his sister Shannon, and his cousin Keith too. I mean, we would play Star Wars. I was Han, Brian was Luke, Shannon was Leia. We didn't know they were siblings yet. That was ironic. And we made Keith be Chewbacca. I don't know if he liked it or not. We didn't care. But we love him all the same, you know. But we had, just to be a kid, knee deep, Generation 1 Star Wars. And even as a kid in '83, when Return of the Jedi came out, I was 11. And so I wasn't really sold on it, too, with the Ewoks. I kind of get what Kevin Smith was saying in Clerks, that, Jedi was just a bunch of Muppets. And, the whole Jabba thing, too. It wasn't my favorite then. It was basically, Star Wars and Empire and, Jedi. And, when the prequels came out, the prequels have their place. The Disney sequels, they have their place. It's called the rubbish bin, especially The Last Jedi. Yeah, I'm saying that. The Last Jedi was horrible and divisive. It was a beautiful movie made by a master auteur movie maker, but it's not a Star Wars story. And so come and fight me. Yeah, come and get it. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, let's go back to 1980. And my favorite Star Wars movie. It was a moment in time. I mean, the New Wave was coming out, and the Go-Go's, and Adam and the Ants, and the fashion, and breakdancing is right around the corner too. It was and these ninja movies of the early '80s. What a wonderful time to be a kid, and to remember it all. And thank you, Erwin Cursor, for your love of this space magic and fantasy, and being able to temper George Lucas's vision, and to make this sequel that it defines sequels, and the cliffhanger ending of all this jeopardy and all of the good guys getting in Dutch at the end. And I had the Marvel Comics adaptation, the oversized one. I had the official magazine, because this is before VCRs. This is what we had. I had the paperback. Yeah, I was 7 years old and I was reading. I was pretty smart as a kid. I read a lot. And also I had the RSO album. It was, you opened it up and it had pictures, like in this fake kind of film, but it was the progression of the story. And it was actual dialogue from the movie, all the John Williams music, and it was how I learned every story beat in every piece of dialogue from Empire Strikes Back. And I'm going to end it with, I guess, my favorite quote from that movie. "You slimy, double-crossing, no-good swindler. You got a lot of guts showing up here after what you pulled." How you doing, you old space pirate? So good to see you. Hey, Chewbacca, still hanging out with this loser? Hello? Yeah, Lando. I mean, I just love that story beat. The whole, I mean, it kills me to this day. But thank you so much. Give me a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Give me a thumbs down if, you think I'm out of line for not liking The Last Jedi. I mean, yeah, I got it coming, don't I? Leave a comment in the comment section and give me a subscribe if you'd like to. I like to keep things positive for the most part in pop culture. I also am very spiritual. I'm an amateur theologian and ordained minister, so I talk about spirituality. And I'm a professional chef, and I'm giving you cooking hacks, restaurant quality cooking hacks for your own home to elevate your home cooking game. Well, thank you so much for letting me gush about Empire Strikes Back for a few minutes with you. I mean, it's just such a special place in my heart and in my memories. I'm so blessed and grateful for that experience. I mean, none of the modern narratives and agenda and Disney foolishness can ever take that away from me. Only Alzheimer's will when I'm ancient. God bless you. Namaste. And the Force will be with you always. Cheers.